glad you could join us tonight. Feeling a bit under the weather. I got a bad cold, so I'm going to do my best that I can. And I want to say, as I usually do, so somebody will be winning they'll be winning the Palm, the Ultimate. That's a $1,300 device, and as you can see, the light is going right through my hand. That's how much energy is coming out of this thing. And it has the 660 wavelength as well as the 810 nanometer wavelength. And you can't see 810 coming through my hand, but in actual fact, it's much more, anywhere from 10 to 30 times more, depending on where I put the sensor, coming through my hand. And part of that is because of the bones and the sinews and the flesh and the fat. I got some extra fat. So fat is high scattering component. So that changes how light. So depending how much fat is in between and other factors that determine how much light goes through. But when it comes to 810 nanometer or 1050, as we have the Super Palm 1050, the possibility exists of even a bit deeper. So I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I hope you have an absolutely phenomenal time with your family. And we're going to get rolling in a minute here. So tonight we're going to have Ireal and Rachel on. It was an earlier recording I did earlier today. Excuse me. I'll try and remember to mute my mic next time. But Ireal and Rachel are at the one college in the States, and they are doing soccer, and they've had some significant improvement in their own situations using the light therapy. So they'll get into it tonight. But anyway, so with the Palm Ultimate, by the way, it's a $1,300 device. And every time you join us, you will get a ballot put in. And for this month, we're actually going to only have 3 ballots because we won't have next week. We're not having on the 30th, we're not having a webinar. So you have to wait till, I think it's the 6th, will be the next one, January 6th. So we'll figure out who we'll have on then, closer to that time. But tonight, somebody next year, January, are going to win one of these devices. Now, we also think of it yet. I know it's too short of a time to get this underneath the Christmas tree for somebody, but it's still a wonderful gift when it comes to something that can keep giving. The number of people that have bought one of these and then used it for themselves and then bought it for their family members, really, it's been good for us for sales, but it's been so helpful to those in their families as to having a light that their kids can use. Funny part is the number of parents that loan out their light only not to get it back because it gets consumed by their kids. So that's one danger of loaning out your light. But I do encourage you to loan out your light, help somebody with some severe pain or other issues, and we'll get going here right away. So anyways, we will have the 2 people on very shortly, but first we're going to start with a little short video. Here you go.
15 years back, I realized that light could make a huge difference on the body. I ended up designing this very powerful light using LED technology. With this amount of very high power density, it can reach through the tissues and travel right to the joints. But the key is that the power density and the area is extremely important to deliver that light into that. The mitochondria receives that light and converts that energy into the cell. So it's like giving the cell super high octane fuel, and they run like a jet, and they're able to do all the things for repair in that. What are the products we have? Well, we have a small device, which is actually large when it comes to light therapy. You have a fairly large area of light and a high power density that can be used for different parts of the body, like your fingers, shoulder, back, neck, knees, ankle, anywhere on the body. And then we have what's called the mini canopy, which is about a foot square in size. And then we have our full-size canopy, which is basically 6 of the mini canopies. And then we have another device, which is the helmet, and that device can help for mental issues, for brain injuries, for concussions, for PTSD, TBI, all of those kinds of things. And there's new research out there that shows it could be helpful for not only strokes, but dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's, and just different brain issues. Our plans are to move this technology into every area of the world where there's pain and inflammation, which is basically everywhere, and to expand that so people understand all the applications where this technology can be used to help them in their health in the body as a wellness device. People are looking for how they can treat themselves without drugs.
I really appreciate you guys coming on. So, who wants to start here?
I'll start it off. No
Okay.
worries.
So, how did you get to know about the light therapy stuff? And
Basically, my mom she introduced it to me a few years ago. Actually, she was looking into red light, and I had at the time suffered a pretty bad knee injury. I got a meniscus tear right before entering college, and things weren't looking too well for me. Suffering from pain every single day, swelling. I couldn't run, couldn't even kick a ball. Like everything that I really loved doing was kind of taken away from me.
yeah,
And, that was when my mom was really getting into red light therapy ahead of opening her business. And basically, she started introducing red light therapy to me. And I started using it in my recovery program. And like it basically like changed the complete trajectory of my recovery process. um like my swelling decreased, like everything just kind of like sped up, you know what I mean? And yeah, that was basically my first introduction to red light therapy.
how many treatments before you noticed a reduction in pain?
I think at first I would say a week of red light gave me decreasing in swelling. um I would say the pain probably went down shortly after that, probably following
Okay,
next week, because once the swelling goes down,
the
it just
pain
makes it a little easier. Yeah, but
pain
it was
goes
pretty
down.
swollen. I had a pretty bad tear, to be honest.
Okay.
So within the first 2 weeks, I would say.
Oh, that's beautiful. And then you continued to use it and started using it while you were trying to gain strength again.
Yeah. No, 100%. I incorporate it into my recovery process and like everything that I do. So it wasn't just for my knee. I use it for my ankles. My mom, she currently has like a full body red light.
Yeah,
So
great
I'm able
big
to,
job.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like,
the big one. So I can
isn't
use it.
that
It's
beautiful?
huge. Yeah, it gets my whole body. Um, it's fully into my recovery now, 100%.
That's great. And Rachel, how about yourself? How did you hear about the light therapy?
So similar to Ireal, I have never had red light therapy throughout my entire collegiate career, but as soon as I met Miss Blaze and Ireal, they with your sponsorship, they lended me some of the red light therapy that you guys allowed. And I recently rolled my ankle training with a friend while playing soccer.
Whoa.
I know
Just
it.
hang on one sec here.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, so rolling your ankle, I had one kid, I say kid, college kid, that rolled his ankle and everything was black and blue. Like, I mean, right down to his toes, everything. And I said,
Right, yeah.
what, did you have something similar?
It was pretty bruised. It was pretty swelled as well. I think it's insane how you can just roll it and it's just like that. It's not even contact or anything like that. It's just self-inflicted almost.
Right.
But yeah.
In his situation, I told him, look, you need to try this light therapy on and I had been at this event in Virginia, and there was a bunch of people there, and he came in not for the event, but he was a student, and
Mhm.
they were having their reading week. So I said he came in his crutches, it just coming through to get something, and I says you need to try this light therapy. He says, what's this light
Mhm.
therapy going to do? Come on.
Yeah.
I says, no, here, stop and just take 15 minutes with me and try this. And I had the bigger panel, like the one that's about this big, and, put it on beside his ankle. And we did it on both sides. And in 15 minutes, he had come in crutches, and he said, I could not put any pressure whatsoever on it. And so then he was able, after the treatment, he kind of just hobbled without the cane. He says, without the crutches. He
Mhm.
says, this is amazing. I can actually, I couldn't put any pressure on it just moments ago. And so the next day he came
Wow.
back in, and this time he wasn't reluctant to try it. He says, let's give it another go. And then he went
Mhm.
and he did the light treatment again for about 20 minutes this time. And then he stood up and he put all his weight on his leg that had the sprain. And we saw the
Wow.
color change already. The color had changed in 2 days.
Wow.
So these are one day, one after another. And he put all his
That's
weight.
crazy.
And he was a fairly muscular guy, but he says, this is amazing. And then he took off with his cane and cane crutches. And then I talked to him 2 days later, and he says, I ditched the crutches. I don't need them anymore. So
Really?
I don't know about your
Yes.
situation, but that was him. What about
Yeah,
you?
no, but similar to him, I had recurrent ankle injuries over time and everything like that. And this is the first time where I ever implemented red light within my recovery routine. And I definitely see a drastic difference. The swelling went down a lot, and as I was frequently using it, I could definitely see the pain being released more and more, and I could definitely utilize my ankle in more ways or in quicker ways that I could previously that when I have received like ankle injuries previously before. So yeah,
How did
it
you
has been definitely a difference. Yeah.
how did you end up rolling your ankle?
I was training with a friend. We were just juggling, and we weren't necessarily on a soccer field. We were parts of grass, and I think I just stepped in a wrong
Okay.
spot, and I just rolled it, and it was pretty bad. I heard a crack, but it feels good now. I can train now and everything, so I think that's really good. It was a very quick recovery.
Now, what did you mention to your trainer about the light therapy?
I did not actually. No.
Was
Yeah.
was there a
My,
reason?
my,
Did you kind of think that there might be not as much acceptance, or
I don't
what?
know. I think Ireal could give it better because he's more of empowered and everything. But yeah.
yeah, she recently graduated, so she didn't have
Hmm.
the trainers I had at the time.
Okay.
I brought up red light therapy with the trainers before. Um, some have been, keen or like interested in it. Others have been like speculative. I've told them I was like, professional players around the world are using red light therapy. There's a player, he played in the Premier League, the best league in the world for soccer. He's 42 years old. He has a red light therapy um, station in his basement. Cristiano Ronaldo uses it. LeBron James does, and I'm trying to tell them like I think it's something worth investing in. So speaking about like bringing up red light therapy within my school, definitely have spoke to my trainers about it. Because I'm currently still at school. I have about a year left, whereas Rachel would have graduated. So when she found about red light, she couldn't really discuss it with the trainers. But me, on the other hand, I have discussed it with them. Um, I mentioned that some are keen on it, they're interested in it, and some of them are learning about it themselves, whereas others I would say are speculative and I think are kind of like leaning on ignorance rather than like actually looking into it.
Yeah.
They have very like outdated methods. Like they tend to, kind of spam rice, the rice method, whereas I believe ice kind of slows down your recovery.
Yes, as a matter of fact, that's a very good point. That you
Yeah.
want to break that down, rice, our
Ye-
rest.
ye- Yeah, so basically, the rice method deals with resting, icing, elevation, and all that. The main factor they discuss is usually icing,
Yes,
which I believe after doing research slows down your injury because rather than speeding up blood flow, it slows your blood flow down.
that's
And in
correct.
reality, you need blood to be flowing in order to heal, and just recover in general. So red light therapy, of course, is also a source of heat, which aids in that process and just heat in general. But like I said, the trainers in my school who were speculative on red light therapy, they're obsessed with outdated methods, and I feel like that's where the issue lies. The world is like still, oh, just use ice, you'll be all right. Just use ice,
Oh
and
no,
they're okay with
I
just that. Yeah.
amazingly had one individual. He's a dentist, and the dentist
Mhm,
told his friend because he had a lot of shoulder pain, and this dentist
mhm,
goes all over the place and teaches. And he teaches about light therapy and how to use it in dental field to reduce inflammation and to speed up healing and all that. And he told his friend to use the light on his shoulder immediately
mhm.
and as often as
Yeah,
possible. And
yeah,
so the friend called me and I said, yeah, you need to be using the light on your shoulder. And then he called me back and he says, well, I've got one of the units, but I'm not using it on my shoulder. I says, why not? He says, my doctor told
yeah.
me that I should just use 3 weeks in a row and it should probably get better then, you know? And
Mhm,
it's like, oh my gosh. Like, and I said to him, I says, look, you need to be using the light therapy. He says, well, I always make sure that I listen to, just like I expect my patients to listen to me. I'm sure my doctor expects me to listen to him. And I thought, my gosh, your doctor is
yeah,
still running
yeah,
on old information. And are you still going to listen to him? Why
yeah.
don't you check this out? But isn't that amazing? It's just like crazy.
I would, yeah, I would. Yeah, yeah. Before I got, so usually the handheld and the red light is available to me in Canada when I'm around my mom. I recently, on your behalf, got a handheld, and before getting the handheld at Howard, I didn't really have any red light, so I was using ice because like I didn't really have any other thing, and I was a little like I wouldn't say I was talked into just using ice basically. And for the 3 week period where I was injured, it was just ice, ice, ice. And I wasn't seeing like any progression. It was just like maybe it would alleviate me a little bit, but it would just be like a quick fix and then it would just resort back to the injury. The minute I started introducing heat, that's when I start seeing like real progress like over
Yeah.
time. And yeah, like blood started flowing again. I started losing that stiffness, and that's when I was able to make strides in my recovery process. So the outdated process, it's ridiculous, honestly.
Right, right. So in soccer, what level are you playing at then?
So I'm currently a Division 1 athlete at Howard University in Washington, D.C.
Okay. All right. And that's where you met Rachel along the way or
Yeah. Yeah, Rachel she can say it.
Okay.
Pretty much.
I didn't know this is an online dating service.
No.
No, no, just kidding, just kidding. But we do have it on the record. So anyways, no, it's great to see how much this speeds up healing, and
Yeah,
people really should. There should be studies comparing icing compared to light therapy, and
yeah.
even if they want to use a combination to try it. But I think in
Mhm,
the end, they'll find out that just not plain, just using very powerful light technology like we have with the palm light.
mhm.
You were using one of these guys, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
the
that's got
exact
the
one. Yeah,
really powerful
yeah,
light, so it goes
yeah.
right through my hand.
It penetrates deep. Yeah, yeah.
And it's so, and
I
this
was gonna.
happens to,
Yeah,
yeah, this happens to be the near infrared, which you can
mm,
barely see. Well, you
yeah,
can't see it with your eyes, but
mhm,
yeah, so that's what you've been using, and
mm,
there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of toys out there, and if you're using one of the toys, you probably need icing. But
yeah, yeah.
when you have the real thing,
Hmm.
that's going to be very helpful. Well,
That
it's
makes
been great to
difference.
have Ireal, to have you on, and Rachel. Any last thoughts you
Thank
have
you.
about the using the light therapy or spreading the word?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, beyond injuries, it can like treat diseases as well. My mom has like so many clients with different symptoms, like psoriasis, arthritis. Like it's not strictly for um, pain. It can treat you day to day as well.
Hmm.
Whether it's like boosting your energy throughout the day, use it in the morning, use it in the night. Don't wait until there's a problem, is what I'm trying to say. Use it ahead of
Preconditioning,
time. Yeah,
preconditioning.
exactly.
And
And
they even
incorporate it.
say
Yeah.
for now for I've got people that are using it before surgery, just
Mhm.
before they go in for surgery, and the
Oh
surgery
wow.
ends up coming out so much better. Um,
Mm.
so it's very important to supercharge the cells
Yeah,
um,
100%.
for whatever. How about yourself, Rachel? Any other further thoughts?
Yeah, so I would say I have chronic ankle issues. Like I'm always spraining my ankle, but this is the first time where I've actually recovered from ankle issues very, very quickly. So I would say that the red light therapy has definitely helped in speeding up the process and the recovery. So shout out to you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Well,
Hmm.
keep sharing the light amongst each other and
No, for
others
Will
as
do.
sure.
well. All
Will do.
right. Okay, and tell the good story.
Will
And
do. Thank you for having us.
Definitely will. Thank
all
you.
all the best. Okay, bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care.
Hey everyone, and welcome. So today, we're going to dive into some really fascinating technology. It's all about tackling those stubborn aches and pains using something you'd probably never expect. Targeted, powerful light. Let's get right into it. You know the one I'm talking about, right? That ache deep in a joint or a muscle that just lingers. No matter what you try, it's still there. It's that kind of hard-to-reach pain that can drive you crazy. So the big question is, how do you actually get to it? I know, it sounds a little bit like something out of a sci-fi movie, but this brings us to the main question here. Can light really help your body heal? Well, the science behind it is actually surprisingly solid. Okay, so there's a big sciencey word for this. Photobiomodulation. It's a mouthful, I know, but the idea behind it is actually super simple. It's a clinically proven method where you use very specific types or wavelengths of light to basically give your cells a little boost. This helps kickstart your body's natural healing process to reduce things like pain and inflammation. It's like a helping hand made of light. Okay, so we know the science is solid, but how do you actually use it? How do you make it work for you effectively? And that's where this specific technology, SunPowerLED, enters the picture. Because it's not just about any light, it's about delivering it with some serious power and precision. So the whole thing is the brainchild of an inventor named Tom Kerber. And here's the key innovation he came up with: a special cooling system. Now, why on earth does a cooling system matter for a light? Well, think about it. If you can keep those LEDs from overheating, you can crank up the power way up. And more power means that light can actually sink deeper into your tissues to get right to the source of the problem. And this leads to another really key difference you can see here. A lot of other devices out there can create what they call hotspots, basically uneven patches of light. But SunPower LED was engineered to give you this consistent, smooth, even wall of light. That means the whole area you're treating gets the exact same dose. And that consistency, it's absolutely crucial for getting real results. Now, this kind of tech doesn't just pop up out of nowhere, right? It's been tweaked and improved over time, and you can really see that story unfold when you look at how the products have evolved. It all started with the Palm Classic. That one used a 660 nanometer red light, which was awesome for things like skin and circulation. Then they kicked it up a notch with the Palm Professional, which added an 810 nanometer wavelength to get deeper into joints. After that, they launched the Palm Ultimate. It used the same wavelengths but boosted the power by a whole 25%. So each new version was designed to go deeper and work faster. And all of that research, all that evolution, has led to this the newest and most advanced model in the lineup, the Super Palm 1050. So what's the big deal here? It's all about a brand new wavelength, 1050 nanometers. This isn't just a random number. It's based on clinical research that shows this specific near-infrared light can get deeper than ever before. We're talking about reaching tissues that other wavelengths just can't touch. So what does that really mean for you? It means this device is built for the really tough spots. Think about big joints like your hip or those deep muscles in your back. You know, the stubborn aches that just don't seem to respond to anything else? And since it's so much more powerful, treatment times are generally faster too. And you know what's really cool? For all this advanced tech, using it couldn't be simpler. It literally has two settings. Setting 1 is that visible red light, the 660 nanometer one, which is perfect for prepping the area and getting blood flowing. Setting 2 switches on the 1050 nanometer near infrared light. And here's the wild part. The most powerful light, the one that goes the deepest, it's completely invisible to the naked eye. So for all you tech specs folks out there, let's peek under the hood for a sec. We're talking about an average of 7.5 watts of power for the red light and 6.5 watts for the near infrared. That is a ton of energy. And it's all focused on a 40 square centimeter area, which is roughly a 3-inch circle. Pretty good coverage. Okay, so whenever you talk about this much power, two big questions always come up, right? First, is it safe? And second, does it actually work? Let's talk about the proof behind the power. First off, let's talk about why they chose LEDs instead of lasers. This wasn't an accident. It was a very specific choice. LEDs are generally way safer for you to use at home, and you don't need a doctor looking over your shoulder. Plus, they do a better job of covering a large area evenly compared to a pinpoint laser beam. And they really went all in on the safety features, which should give you some serious peace of mind. These devices are FDA registered as a Class 2 device. You're not getting any of that harmful UV radiation, there's no EMF radiation to worry about, and they even built in temperature monitoring to make sure things never get too hot. It's all about making sure it's safe for you to use at home. But okay, certifications are one thing. What are actual people saying about it? Here's one from Bruce H., who says it has, quote, awesome healing properties with no side effects. He even says he's recommended it for several chronic conditions. That speaks volume. Now, this next one. This one is really something else. It's from a user named Paul H. He said his son had a severe concussion, and that, quote, in 3 treatments with the helmet, his vision was restored and his brain fog was cleared. Just wow. That's a pretty incredible story. And you know, it's not always just about the gadget itself. Sometimes it's about the company behind it. This last quote from Russ C. really speaks to that. He says he called to ask questions and ended up speaking directly with the inventor, Tom Kerber, who took time to answer everything. That kind of personal touch really builds a lot of trust. So when you put it all together, the science, the way the technology has evolved, and these real-world stories, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? For all those aches and pains that are buried deep down, could the key to relief be unlocking your body's own amazing potential with just a little bit of targeted light?
Well, excuse me. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and were able to learn a little bit more about how light can be so beneficial to speeding up healing. It really does, in many ways. So I'm going to go through some of these questions, and I really am feeling quite under the weather. So I just wanted to get to your questions, and we're going to probably call it an early evening tonight, but just because as I say, I'm not feeling that great. So first off is question about, hi, Susan. Yeah, the helmet pulsar option is $200. So the question that came up as well about rice method is rice is rest, ice, compression, and elevation. And really, more and more are coming on to that's a very old method. And as a matter of fact, you are slowing down the metabolism that's going on in the area. So you're not helping the blood flow. You're not helping the lymphatic drainage to take place. So, anyways, that's something that when you do have an injury, this is something that so anyways, it's very, very beneficial to get right on top of the okay, when it comes up, when you have some kind of injury like that, great to have the palm on hand so you can treat yourself. By the way, we are having a Christmas discount right now. You don't need a code. You can just go to the website and you'll get a 10% discount. So please visit our website. And also, I'll mention, please go to the SunPowerLED YouTube channel. And there's a lot of videos there. You might find that you search videos maybe a little easier, but some great videos, especially on the shorts, to watch some of the shorts. Please, when you get a chance to see those videos, please remember to like the video, subscribe, because then you'll be always kept up with the latest video that we post, but also like it. And the reason I say like it, because when you do that for us, that's one small thing you can do. It really helps YouTube look at things and put it out there, and more people will find our website and find our technology. So it really does help us. Okay, so if you wouldn't mind doing that. Tanya is asking, hi Tom, when will the smaller device for the mouth be ready? We're looking at early in the new year. Please email us. Please email us, because this can help with dry mouth, and cavities are another problem, obviously, with oral mucositis. Anytime you have dry, or maybe it's not oral mucositis, but dry mouth. So Tanya, just hang in there a little bit. Email us from week to week, and I'll give you the latest update as to when it's ready. Okay, more questions here. Okay. Chris is asking, my main interest is in injury rehabilitation, primarily expediting the process, but I understand that you can also assist in tissue repair post-surgically as well, as well as hair growth. Yep. And yes, and yes. Are your units capable of assisting in all of the above? Absolutely. We've seen people improve, grow from complete baldness to growing their hair back. Now, that depends on whether you have hair follicles that are just not working properly. They're there and they're just trying to work, but they're not producing any hair. It's possible that we can build the hair or get a heavier hair growth, heavier bunch of hair. So that's possible, but also the speeding up of healing on injuries is just astronomical. It's beautiful to see. And the other thing, when the healing takes place and you use the light alongside of it, there's all kinds of mechanisms. And one of the beautiful things is that it also helps in the tissue repair in such a way that there's no scar tissue. Some have heard me share before, but one young girl, a teenager, she was with her friends in a tree, and they were swinging with a rope inside the tree, and she jumped out of the tree, but in the process, the rope ended up lassoing her hand, and by the time it got to her longest finger, it took the whole end of the finger off, just above the knuckle, and all the skin and everything. So the surgeon, she went to the hospital. The surgeon had to cut the bone away and then tie the skin back together on the tip. And he had said it's going to take multiple surgeries to get rid of all the scar tissue that's going to form while it's healing and trying to heal back. She went in for her 2-week review with the surgeon, and he looked at her finger, and she had been using the light every day on her finger. And he said, your finger has healed up perfectly, and there's no scar tissue formed, and there's no additional surgeries required. So it's very, very possible to help with reduction of scar tissue while it's healing. So another question here by Mary Sue. Have you reached out to Parkinson's societies? A lot of different societies, it's very, very hard to break through. It really takes somebody, let's say like yourself, that Mary Sue, if you had a direct connection within the Parkinson's Society, as far as maybe you're on the board, well, maybe somebody might listen to you. But I do know that there's been attempts of different individuals who serve on boards to bring it up. And so many times there's no one listening to the possibility of this type of technology used. So it's really quite beneficial um, to for people with cognitive issues. And anyways, it's too bad that it's so slow in acceptance, but we believe that's going to be changing. I appreciate for those of you that can pray or do pray, please pray for us. We are trying to raise a substantial amount of money that will be used to launch about six studies. Four studies alone with one university will be doing opiate addiction. Be doing opiate addiction, depression. We'll be doing concussions. We'll also be doing opiate addiction, depression, obesity, because it turns out there's a connection between the brain and cravings as well as gut-brain issues. So the tie-in of the two is enormous. So concussions and autism. So those are four. We got another one going on with long COVID, another one with autism, and we expect another one with concussions as well. So we really appreciate your prayers as we go through this new area, because we believe that if we get some significant studies behind us, real studies. I'm not talking about some of the junk that's been done that's fraudulent and that. I mean, real studies where it shows, just like our first study when we did the opiate addiction and depression, when we saw that there was with the there's 50 people involved and half of them got the light treatment and both of them got standard of care. And the one that got the light treatment, that was twice a week for 3 minutes only. So a total of 6 minutes per week. And after the course of a month, significant improvement in their lives, where they had reduced depression, reduced anxiety, improved outlook on life, reduced cravings for drugs. There was just a whole number of things that they were looking at, and they saw really good results. Now, we're hopeful to step that study up probably four to five times more people and be able to do a double blind that'll demonstrate that. So, anyways, okay, Michael is asking thoughts about ED. As a matter of fact, there's a strong connection to light and the increase in testosterone. And there has been some people that have reported back to me the unusual use of their lights and finding improvement in certain areas. So I'll leave it at that. How's that? But I'm just going to wrap it up. Oh, there's one more message, I think, towards the bottom. Let's scroll down. Okay. Have you also had good results with, this is from Chris, with neurological conditions of the lower limb, like diabetic neuropathy and post-surgical nerve damage? Yes and yes. Seen improvement in both. Even long-term damage can be reversed. Now, we're actually going to go into a study where with a group out of Israel, where a neurologist has been able to reattach spinal cords. And the thing is, he's using when he first built the scaffolding material to help the nerves grow back together. there was a challenge, and that was that there was scar tissue formed on the nerves, and so the nerve function was only like 20%. But when they accompanied this scaffolding material, they'd have to apply it with a surgery. They'd put this material in between surgically, and then when they apply a light to it, they were able to regrow the spinal cord with 80% functionality, which is almost like normal. Sure, it's not perfect, but it's where you would be very functional with only a loss of 20%. So we're hopeful that some funding will come along for that as well. If you know of somebody that really wants to make a difference in this world and impact for future generations in one of the areas that I've talked about, please consider contacting us, because anything right now can be very, very helpful. Studies are expensive, but we could make a huge difference. But really, we need the studies as part of the proof to go forward in some of these areas. Yes, we've had people improve with all kinds of things, but anecdotally, unfortunately, will not buy any weight in the academic circles. Even if we had 10 people in a row that got rid of all their knee pain, it would not stack up in credibility, even though you got names of people that all 10 have improved. It doesn't matter. We need a study for many of these different things, and unfortunately, it costs a lot of money. So, Crohn's disease. It is possible for the near infrared to reach inside the intestinal area and help improve in some cases. A lot of it has to do with autoimmune disorders, and when the immune system is going and attacking yourself, and that whether that's a thyroid, whether that's something in the eyes, whether it's something in the gut, light therapy can actually help give the energy to the cells, and then they can start either repairing the cell that's damaged or telling it to turn off and die. And sometimes that's very necessary as well. So, well, it's done all the time. Your body is always changing over cells, but sometimes it's happening at too fast a rate or not fast enough. That's where the light therapy can help. So, I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight, and Susan is wishing everybody a wonderful, light-filled Christmas and happy and prosperous New Year. Thank you to Susan, to others that are thanking us for this webinar. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. Remember, please go to our YouTube and like and share, and also please tell others that that this is really a real technology, because if people don't know about it, the only way they'll understand is if a friend of theirs reaches out and says, hey, this really works. Yeah, I want to wish everybody the very best of a Christmas, a very blessed Christmas. And please spread the light with these devices to your family and friends. Oops, there. Well, maybe if I turn it on, there we go. And also spread the light as to the true meaning of Christmas. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. And all the best in the coming new year. And we'll see you. Our next webinar will be January 6th. And remember, we have a 10% discount, and we'll do our best to getting the units out as quickly as we possibly can. So all the best, and bye for now.